All right, we should be live. What is up, everybody? Here to break down the Xfinity Series race here for you guys. Go ahead, ask me any questions because I will answer all of them for you. That's kind of what I'm here for, to answer any questions you guys have. I'm going to quickly go through every single driver here and what they need to pay off their salary, and if I think they can do that. Sorry about that screen right there. Had to pull up something for myself to look at. So yeah, we'll start with Tyler Reddick. So this is going to be the big key on the slate, I think, is which of these three guys, or if it's two of them, are going to be the guys to go with. And Finesse God, I see your question. I'm going to answer it in a little bit. Let me get through some of these things, and I'm going to answer your question. So just hang out for a minute. It's just I want to talk about some of those plays before I just straight up answer it, because that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So yeah, Reddick starts 40th. I think he's going to be the lowest on one out of all these guys, because I honestly, going into the week, I thought Reddick's going to be chalk, Reddick's going to be chalk. Everywhere I've read, everything I've heard, everyone's like, no, don't play Reddick, play Gragson and Allgaier. They're way better, which they're much better equipment than Tyler Reddick is, but we're underselling Tyler Reddick here. Tyler Reddick is, he is the best driver in this field. The most talented driver in this field is Tyler Reddick. Now look, his car is not as great as Gragson or Allgaier's. I get that, but he needs a top 12 to pay off that salary. He should get that. He finished second last week. Probably didn't have a second place car. Probably had a top 5 car though. He was fast. At the end of that race, he was fast. So Tyler Reddick, starting 40th, I like him. Gragson's going to be my favorite. He's going to be the highest owned, but he's still my favorite. He needs a top 10 to pay off the salary. Best average finish at Vegas. 5th at intermediate, 2nd at steep tracks, 3rd best average position in all 3 of those. Fantastic driver at these intermediate tracks. And my whole thing with Noah Gragson is he is coming into this race pissed. He is pissed off after last week. When we've seen all the crap he's done on Twitter this week, the interview after the race, he's mad. So I think Noah Gragson's going to come in and try to win this freaking race as hard as he can. It's going to be Red Cruiser Checkers again, so that guy might wreck out again, but I think he's going to win today. It's also his home track, so there's another narrative you want to get there. And Allgaier's the last one. He starts 37th. He's going to be the second highest zone I'd expect. I'd expect to go Gragson, Allgaier, Reddick. Allgaier is the 4th best average finish at Vegas, 8th intermediate, 6th at steep tracks. So this is what I'm personally doing. Now, if I were to rank these guys as individual plays on their own, I would say Gragson's the best play, then Allgaier, then Reddick. Now, I don't think Reddick is that bad of. I don't think Reddick's that much worse of a play. I actually think he's a really good play. He starts 40th, he needs a top 12 to pay off the salary. Same, Allgaier also needs a top 12, and Gragson needs a top 9 or a top 10. All that should happen. Everything is normal. Those 3 things should happen. I'm fading Allgaier today. I think it's going to be so much higher owned. I don't think Reddick's going to be much lower owned, and I don't know. Allgaier is not the best intermediate track driver. He really is not. He's great at the short tracks. He's great at the short tracks. This is not the track that he's very good at. So Justin Allgaier is the guy I'm fading in tournaments personally. I probably wouldn't suggest it. I didn't want to have a ton of my ownership just spread in between all 3 of those guys. I want to be firm on having a ton of Reddick and a ton of Gragson today. So that's my take on those 3 drivers. I think all of them are really good plays. If you just close your eyes and pick one, I think they're all really good. Gragson would be my favorite by a little bit, but really not by that much. Let me answer some questions here. So Finesse God's question about the Reddick, Gragson, Allgaier, Curry, Mills, Parsons lineup, I actually don't really like that, because I don't think Curry and Mills are really that great at plays today. I don't think a lot of those super cheap guys are. There are a few that I do like. I'm fine with Parsons, though. I would probably, like you said, go to Cindric or maybe even like a Harrison Burton. Instead of one of those 3, whichever one you want to get rid of, doesn't really matter. That's what I would probably do. Matthew LaFontaine said Graf or Starr. I'm going to say Graf. We'll get into that more as I get into the video. Max White said, hey, Nate, let's get it. What's up, Max? Matthew said, Nate smashed Natty Light last night. That is a fact. And then Max said, I've got Reddick, Gragson, Burton, Brown, Little, Parsons, single entry, GVP lineup. What do you think? Reddick, Gragson, Harrison Burton, Brandon Brown, Little, Parsons. Yeah, I like that. You realize everyone's saying that they don't like Reddick means people are playing him. No, that's actually not it. I disagree with that. I think people that are saying they don't like Reddick, I think that was the narrative going into this week, was that people were saying that they don't like Reddick because a lot of people are going to play him. I get what you're saying there, but when literally every single site, every single video, every single podcast, every single article is saying don't play Reddick because he's going to be highly owned, well, everybody who's reading all that stuff, and most people who are playing Xfinity Series aren't casuals. They actually know what they're doing. Instead, they're just not going to play Reddick. They're not going to play Reddick now because everyone's saying not to. So I actually don't think Reddick's going to be that highly owned. I'm pretty 90% sure he's the lowest owned out of those 3. Austin Cindric starts second. He's $10,500. And Cindric is going to be popular today, and I like Cindric. Out of all the guys starting up high, he's the best one by far. Like, you got him, Snyder, Jones, Hemrick. Like, Cindric's really good these intermediate tracks. Has the most laps led at intermediate tracks in the field, so he looks really good. To pay off his salary, he's going to have to win and lead laps like that. Ty Dillon needs a top 6 to pay off his salary. He's in one of the best cars in the field. I really, really like that. I think that's a really good play. He's not going to be owned. Not a lot of people like to play Ty Dillon, especially after the last two races he's done, where one of them he wrecked and the other one he had engine issues or something. So Ty Dillon, I'm like that a lot. But I also really like Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton needs a top 8 to pay off his salary, starting 22nd. Really, really good. Harrison Burton, he starts 22nd. He needs a top 8 to pay off his salary. Second best average finish at Vegas, second intermediates and best at steep tracks. Fourth best average position at Vegas, second intermediate, fourth at steep tracks. He's just really consistent, a really consistent driver when, he doesn't have engine troubles like last week. Offers us a lot of place differential. That's going to be something that he could lead laps, but he's a lot less likely to lead laps than other guys, but he's definitely offers a ton of place differential. Should be competing for a win and competing for a top 5 in this race, so really like Burton. AJ Allmendinger starts 10th. He's $9,600. He needs a top 3 to pay off his salary. Like that a lot. He's good. He's been, really consistent. These intermediate tracks as well. Could lead laps, so he's definitely someone I like for tournaments. Let's bet a 30-pack. Ownership of Reddick, 40% or more. You choose. All right, 40% or more on Reddick. I think it's gonna be under. I really do. Because I think everyone's gonna play Gragson for sure. Gragson's gonna be over 50. Like, that's gonna happen. And then the next highest owned one's gonna be Allgaier, and you can't fit all 3 of those guys in a lineup. So by default, one of those guys is getting a lot less ownership. It's like last week with the in the Cup Series, you had William Byron starting in the back. I think it was Matty D starting in the back. Reddick was in the back, and Briscoe was in the back. And Byron was only like 15% owned because everyone played Briscoe and Reddick, and that just by default made Byron lower owned. So that's how I think this is going to go. I think it's going to go really similar here for Reddick today. Brandon Jones, $9,400, starts 4th. To pay off his salary, he needs to win this race. Can happen. I think it's really unlikely, but I think Brandon Jones is fine. He's someone I'm going to play in tournaments. I don't really expect him to be a dominator. He can be. Would be a lower owned dominator, but still, for the most part, he's okay. I prefer him to Hemrick, though. His teammate Hemrick. Hemrick also needs to win really to pay off his salary, or they have to lead a lot of laps and finish high. I don't think Hemrick does that either. He's just going to be a consistent top 10 driver if he doesn't wreck out. So not going to be too interested there. Riley Herbst needs a top 5 to win. He's in a top 5 car. That Stewart Haas Racing 98 car is fast. Love him here. That's going to be a spot that I want to attack today. I don't think anyone's playing Riley Herbst today. So definitely has top 5 upside. We've seen him run well. He has the 6th best average finish at Vegas as well in the field. So that looks good. Justin Haley's $8,800. He starts 6th. Haley, to pay off his salary, is going to need a top 3. I think he can do that. It's going to be a lower owned tournament play. Finishing upside is what we're looking for here. Finishing position upside. So I think he could do that. Wouldn't call him a lock or anything. Only interested for tournaments. Same thing with Michael Annett. He needs a top 7 to pay off his salary. And Michael Annett's a top 10 driver. It's just, what side of the spectrum of the top 10 does he get? Does he get a top 3 or does he get 9, 10? He kind of fluctuates every race. So I'm cool with Michael Annett. He's definitely someone I haven't played for tournaments. Brett Moffatt, I know he was fast last week. Still not really all that interested. Needs a top 4 to pay off that salary. I want to see one more time. I want to see one more race with Moffatt before I'm really comfortable playing him here. He could definitely get a top 4, but I think it's a lot less likely than a lot of the other drivers doing what they need to do. So I'm not going to be too high on him, but I get it if you want to play him. Ryan Sieg needs a top 7. This is like Ryan Sieg's best track. He's the 2nd best average finish here. Really good at this track. 7th best average finish at, or 7th best average position at Vegas as well. So I do like him a lot. I think this is a good play for tournaments. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him because he starts 11th, but and with all the place differential plays, I like that. Myatt Snyder starts too high for me on the pole. He's going to have to top 2 finish to pay off that salary. I don't want to get that. Jeb Burton, he needs a top 5, and that's kind of all Jeb Burton's done this year. So been top 5, top 10 driver. I really like that. I think that's a really good tournament play. I think he can win this race. There's a late race caution. Wouldn't be that surprised if that happened. But he's not going to get you dominator points, but he's not going to be anybody plays. And if he finishes in the top 3, he's probably going to be optimal. So because those finishing position points are so high, he just gets a few fast laps here and there too. That could really help you out. So Jeb Burton's someone I like. Mason Ettinger says stars and scrubs are balanced. I think stars and scrubs is the way to go. It depends how you're playing. If you're playing tournaments, I'd probably go more balanced because everyone's going to do stars and scrubs today. But if you're playing cash, if you're playing a cash lineup today, I want two of these three up here. It doesn't really matter to me which two. All three of them look like good plays. And then I'm going to want some of these guys like Parsons, Little, Graf. We'll get into those guys. So, but if I'm playing tournaments, I'm probably going to go more balanced and get a bunch of these guys, like 2 or 3 of these guys in here in this range that are going to be lower owned. So that's how I play tournaments. Jeffrey Earnhardt, I'm going to keep fading him when he's that expensive. He needs a top 17 to pay off his salary. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't know why DraftKings price him up so high every week. Like, I get he's starting in the back, but the other guys starting in the back, they don't price up that much. Maybe it's because he's an Earnhardt, but he's not a good Earnhardt. So Jeffrey Earnhardt, not going to really be too interested in him. Santino Ferrucci needs a top 17 to pay off his salary. Okay, so this Sam Hunt racing car is actually like good equipment. They're getting Toyota equipment from JGR's Xfinity Series team. So Santino Ferrucci is definitely someone that stands out to me as like a tournament play that has a lot of upside to potentially, just do well, get a top 10. So I'm going to be interested there. Probably going to have some lines with Santino Ferrucci in him. Josh Berry starts 9th. He's $7,300. He needs a top 8 to pay off his salary. I'm cool with that. I mean, he's a tournament play only. He has top 5 upside in that car. Probably really unlikely to hit it, but if it does, it's going to be something that I really like for tournaments. Cash, I'm going to avoid that for sure. Up next, we have Ryan Vargas, $7,100, starting 35th. I feel like people might end up playing Ryan Vargas this week, but he sucks. Like, he's just not good. He needs a top 21 to pay off that salary. I don't really see it happening. The only time we see Vargas ever do well is at the super speedways and the road courses. For the most part, at the normal tracks, he's just not doing all that great, so not going to want to go there. But I love Brandon Brown today. Brandon Brown's one of my two mid-range to value plays that I really like here. He's $6,900. He starts 25th, and he needs a top 17 to pay off his salary. And Brandon Brown's a top 15 driver every single week. He has a 9th best average finish at Vegas, 15th at intermediates, and 15th at steep tracks. DraftKings really mispriced him here. He should be like $7,500, not $6,900. Maybe even a little bit more than that. So I like Brandon Brown a lot. He's going to be someone I like in cash, I like in tournaments. I have a good bit of him today. Definitely one of my more favorite plays on the slate. Gray Galding's too expensive, starting 36 to $6,700. That car's not good. He needs a top 22 to pay off his salary, and I don't think that happens. I mean, it could happen, but definitely not guaranteed. The car wasn't sponsored last week, wasn't fast last week, so Gray Galding, not going to be all that excited for him. Alex LeBay needs a top 13 to pay off his salary at $6,500. It can happen, but it feels really unlikely, so for the most part, I'm probably going to just avoid that. Jeremy Clements is $6,400, starting 8th. Needs a top 10. I don't think that happens. I'm not going to play him. Bailey Curry is $6,200 to pay off his salary. Needs a top 25. I think that can happen, but I prefer just paying for Howard, but I think Curry's going to be a little bit lower owned, so I'm fine with that. That Mike Harmon Racing team just isn't really that good, so I'm not really expecting a lot from Bailey Curry, but I don't hate it. You can definitely get he has definitely some upside to finish inside that top 25. Colby Howard is top 24. Really like him. He's in much better equipment than Curry, and I think it's a little bit of a better driver. So at $6,100, starting 38th, that's going to be someone that I do like to get. I like Colby Howard a good bit. And then here's the other guy in this mid-range pair that I really like. I have way too much Josh Williams today. This is probably gonna kill me because it's Josh freaking Williams and he's my second highest owned driver on DraftKings right now. That's not fun, but Josh Williams, he's too cheap too. He starts 24th. He needs a top 18 to pay off his salary. I think I read that right. Top 18 to pay off his salary, and he should do that. 13th best average finish at Vegas, 20th at intermediates, 19th at steep tracks. We see him finish inside the top 18 a lot. That's kind of just where he runs normally. And starting 24th, I mean, he's had a little bit of a rough start to the year, but $6,000 in decent equipment, I'm fine with that, man. I mean, I know it's Josh Williams. He's really not that good, but, I mean, he starts far enough back where I want to get it, and I don't think a lot of people are going to play him. Everyone's going to play Curry and Howard because they see 39th and 38th, and no one's going to play Josh Williams. So I do like Josh Williams. I think he's interesting. What's your theory? Cars like Brandon Brown, they have to move to the back for tech failures. I actually don't care if they move to the back at all because it's a long race. So Brandon Brown, what does he start 25th? I mean, he's not going to be someone who's really good and shoot up the field fast, but he won't have a problem getting back up there. I mean, this race is 200 laps long, so he'll be fine getting back up there. He just won't, if you look at your DraftKings lineups right when the race starts in the first 30, 40 laps, you're not going to be doing good. But by the end of the race, he should, with all the pit stops, all the stage breaks, I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff that happens that gets you back up there. So I don't even care if they get sent to the back like that at all. The only time I will care a little bit is if it's someone starting on a pole maybe, but even then, I don't hate it as much. Maybe this year I do, but in past seasons I wouldn't when there was qualifying and stuff, but this year there isn't. So, I mean, I like Josh Williams, I like Brandon Brown even if he goes to the back, or any of these guys. If they get sent to the back, I'm not really too worried. Jade Buford, $5,800, starts 27th. He needs a top 20 to pay off his salary. I don't see it. Didn't really have a great run last week. He's new to the NASCAR, and not really in great equipment either, so I'm really just not all that excited for him. Garrett Smithley needs a top 14. He's driving that car that J.J. Yeley drove last week, number 17 for Rick Ware Racing. The problem here is, he starts too high. I love playing that 17 car all the time, but now he's starting too high. And I just don't see it. He needs a top 14. He's probably going to finish, 20th, 18th, 19th, 20th, something like that. And that's not going to do it, so I don't want to play that. Tommy Joe Martins needs a top 19 to pay off his salary. I think that's interesting. I think it can happen. It's just the problem with Tommy Joe Martins is his ceiling feels really capped, where some guys down here I think have a much higher ceiling. Chad Finch, I'm not going to be too interested here for the MBM team. Starting 29th doesn't start far enough back. Timmy Hill starts 18th at $5,400. Same thing there. I know Timmy Hill had a good run last week. Those cars are running right now. They have sponsorship, but still, I just think he starts too high. Same thing with Landon Castle, starts too high. Allgaier and Brown, or Reddick and Curry, or Howard. Allgaier and Brown. Stefan Parsons starts 33rd. He's $5,200. I really like Stefan Parsons. I know we were all on Parsons last week and he sucked. We didn't suck. He had, I think it was either tire issues or engine issues, literally 20 laps into the race, and he screwed us. He got laps down. There was no cautions, so that was really tough. You hate to see that one, but I believe in that car. It's not bad, and I believe in the talent. So Stefan Parsons, definitely like him. David Starr was fast last week, surprisingly fast. When he wrecked Gragson at the end of the race, he was running 12th. So he was having a really good run. He was going to be optimal. He might have still been optimal. I don't remember exactly what the lineup was. I don't think he was, but he was going to be. And now he starts 28th, which isn't great, but he still does stand out a little bit to me as someone that I do like a little bit. For tournaments, I don't think I have any David Starr, but now I can say he has top 17 upside, so I'm fine with that. Jesse Little starts 28th. He needs top 24 to pay off that salary. That BJ McLeod car isn't really that great, but I believe in the talent underneath that car. I think he's a much better driver than that car, so I think he can get it inside that top 24. Joe Graff Jr. is gross. I hate playing Joe Graff Jr., but he only needs a top 22 to pay off that salary, and that's definitely very possible, so I'm fine with that. Matt Mills' car sucks. I don't want to pay for that. He needs a top 24. I don't think he gets it. Weatherman needs a top 19. I don't think he gets it. B needs a top 18. I don't think he gets it. So these three I'm going to be off. All right, let's get to some questions. I'm going to answer some questions here, but make sure to ask questions. I'll answer all of them. So go ahead, shoot me some questions. I will answer them. Mason Ettinger says, who do you think scores the most points under 9,200? Interesting. This is a tough one. I kind of want to say Herbst, because I think Herbst's car is fast enough. He's probably going to pick up some fast laps. And, he's just not good. He's just really not a great driver, but he has top 5 upside. For me, it's either Riley Herbst or Michael Annett. It's one of those two. You have guys down here like Brandon Brown, Curry, Howard, Williams. They're all good values, but I don't think they outscore Annett or Herbst. So, Michael Annett, Riley Herbst. Would you go Ty Dillon over Cindric with Allgaier, Brown, Parsons, Graff, and Burton? I don't hate it. Especially if it's a tournament. If that's cash, I would probably rather have Cindric than Ty Dillon in cash. But if that's a tournament, yeah, I think that's fine. Ty Dillon's fast, got a fast car. Go Stefan Parsons to the moon. Yeah, I would love that. Would love for Stefan Parsons to have a great race today. Last week in Xfinity, man, that was tough. I was doing so good, and Gragson wrecked. That was an unfortunate moment for me. So hopefully we can make it up with Stefan Parsons this week. All day Annett. Yeah, I think Annett's good. I think Annett he's undervalued every single slate in Xfinity Series. And he always does well. He's just not always optimal, but he always does well. As long as he doesn't wreck, obviously. Michael Annett is never going to hurt you. You're never going to play Michael Annett, and at the end of the race, you're like, why did I play Michael Annett? Unless he wrecks, obviously. Or if he's starting, second. But, if he's starting where he is right now, he's not going to hurt you, ever. So, I like Michael Annett. He always feels like a safe play with upside. Doesn't hit the upside as much as other drivers, but that's why he's not a top tier driver in NASCAR. All right, guys. Any other questions? We got any other questions for today? Let me see if we got any in the Discord. Oh, crap. Oh, I guess we got it. Oh, what the heck? Florida State's now by 17 to Notre Dame. That's fun. I guess I'll be watching that when I'm done with this. Let's see if we got any questions on the phone. I don't see any right about now. Check one more spot. No there. Okay, I don't have any questions there. Let me go look on Twitter and see who my guy Bob picked to win, because that is basically a daily tradition on this live stream at this point, is seeing who Bob picked to win. Reddick, Gregson, Sieg, Parsons, Brown, and Williams for a single entry GBP. Love it. Like it. Really like the Reddick Gregson pairing. Then Ryan Sieg is going to be low owned. Love Brandon Brown, Josh Williams. So, yeah, I like that a lot. Sounds good to me. Oh, man. Let's see. Bob Hockeris picks Tyler Reddick to win. See? Maybe you shouldn't pick Tyler Reddick then. Guy's never right. Gregson, Jeb Burton, Austin Cindric, Mike Snyder, top 5. All right, that's interesting. Realistic. Oh, darn. Poor Florida State. Couldn't happen to a better team. Yeah, you like Florida. I know you like Florida. You hate Florida State. They'll come back and win. Notre Dame sucks. I think I did get a question on my phone. Let's see here. Graff or Starr never answered. Oh, my bad. Joe Graff Jr. I like that one better. I mean, they're both kind of bad. I don't really like either of them a ton, but I would go Joe Graff over Starr. Good info. Thanks, Nate. Thank you, Dad. Also, tomorrow I will be doing a Cup Series live stream at probably around the same time. Yeah, around the same time I'll do a Cup Series live stream. Basically, same thing. Answer questions for Vegas tomorrow. That's a tougher slate than this one, in my opinion. Reddick will win one day. I mean, well, he will in the Cup Series, but I don't know if he will in that car in Xfinity Series. Like, I still feel like that's the thing with Reddick. Like, I'm not playing Reddick because I think he's going to win today. I'm playing Reddick because I think he can get a top 7, and that's going to be really, really great for him. And I think he can do that every single time he's in NASCAR, as long as it's on trash equipment. Like, the Hour Motorsports cars are not bad, and he's racing for RSS Racing, but it's not really an RSS car. It's RSS points, but it's an Hour Motorsports car. And the Hour Motorsports car was the one we saw Brett Moffatt drive up to the front last week. That's the same team. And there's a reason Reddick was fast at the end of that race. This car is not as bad as everyone thinks it is. How do you feel about Gregson, Cindric, Burton, Parsons, Brown, Howard? Yeah, that seems good to me. I like that lineup. I think Harrison Burton, I have a lot of Harrison Burton as well today. I think he's going to be way too low owned for where he's starting, how good of a driver he is at these tracks. I mean, I really like Harrison Burton today. I think he's not going to be nearly high enough owned. Like, everyone's just going to play these pairings of these two up here in tournaments. In cash, I get it. But in tournaments, everyone's just going to pair these two and then pay more down for guys down here. It's just going to leave this whole range wide open. Ty Dillon, Harrison Burton, AJ Allmendinger, Brandon Jones, Annette, Sieg, Jeb Burton, Riley Herbst. Like, all those guys are going to be low owned, and they all have very similar upside. So, that's just how I feel. Got any more questions here? Hopefully you guys did well in the truck race last night. I profited. Didn't, take down anything big, but I made money, so that's the goal. Whenever you're profiting, not complaining. So, it was a good night. I wish I played Nemechek. I played Sheldon Creed instead. That was a mistake. If I played John Hunter Nemechek, I would have taken out a tournament last night, so that's unfortunate. But, whatever you do. I originally going into the night actually planned to have a little bit of him, and I just backed out completely. I don't know why I did, though. I mean, I should have known John Hunter Nemechek was going to do really good. I mean, he was a Cup Series driver. Whatever. It's just a mistake. Hate to see it. It's a learning process. Unfortunately, now everyone's going to be on Nemechek the rest of the year. Missed probably one race. He's going to be low owned. Favorite point per dollar play? I'm pretty sure my projections have Gregson as my highest value because I expect him to get fast laps. I have Noah Gregson projected to finish second. I actually had Harrison Burton projected to win. I will say that. Burton projects out as my winner today. But I have Noah Gregson projected to get a ton of fast laps, and I think he leads laps too. So Noah Gregson actually does project out as my highest owned, as my best point per dollar play. But I know that's an expensive one. Like, I know you guys you heard point per dollar, and I bet you were thinking more value. If that was the case, it'd be Brandon Brown. If Reddick wins tomorrow, I'll send you a $20 cigar. Great. Sounds great to me. I love cigars. I will gladly take that. He won't win tomorrow, though. Unless it's like, big caution at the end of the race. It's really the only way Reddick's winning tomorrow, but... All right, we got any other questions? We got 29 viewers in here, but only 10 likes, so make sure to leave a like. That's 19 of you who haven't left a like, so make sure to leave that like on that video. If you're new here, subscribe, of course. Last night was a killer. Awesome, man. Great for you. That's awesome. I'm assuming that was a good killer. That's awesome. Happy you made some money. It was a good night for me as well. Hopefully, probably just gonna go back and lose all my profits today, but it's cool because that's how DFS goes in NASCAR. Pretty much NASCAR DFS goes for me. I do really well on one of the two when it's a truck, Xfinity, and Cup race on the weekend. I do really well on one of the trucks and really bad on one of the truck and Xfinity. One of those two I do well, one of them I do really bad, and then it all comes down to Cup if I profit for the week or whatever. That just seems how it's gone. Although it's been better this year. That was a lot last year. This year started out a lot better, so that's good at least. Except for the Miami race in the Cup Series last week, that sucked. If you could fade one top-tier driver, who would it be? Well, I am fading Justin Allgaier. Now, I don't think that's most necessarily the smartest thing in the world. I just didn't want to have all my ownership spread out. I wanted to focus it more on two of those top three drivers, and I prefer Gragson as a play individually, and then I prefer Reddick I think is gonna be lower owned, so I went there. That was the guy I faded. Now, I wouldn't say that's the best fade, but maybe it is because of ownership. Because I don't think any of these other top tier drivers are gonna get a lot. Because Cindric will. Honestly, maybe Austin Cindric. Like, there's no guarantee he gets out to lead. Like, if Daniel Hemrick or Brandon Jones gets out to the early lead over Cindric, I wouldn't be that surprised. And two, like, there goes Cindric's race pretty much because all the three guys priced above him are going to outscore him by a ton. So maybe Austin Cindric. Best cheap driver today. Yeah, that is going to be either Jesse Little. I don't know what you qualify as cheap because I also really like Josh Williams at 6,000. I don't know if that's super cheap for you. If you want like really deep value, it's going to be Little and Graf, and Parsons. Parsons, Little, Graf, probably the best three super cheap guys, but I mean a little bit more expensive, but still cheap. Josh Williams and Colby Howard too. Any other questions we got here? Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you don't already follow me at @NateLane_. Yeah. I talk about sports. I'll be talking about, whatever today. So, I'm honestly talking a lot about college basketball right now. March Madness starts next week. Okay, also, I guess I'll make a plug now for myself. Next week is the conference tournament starting, and all year, early on in the year, I was doing college basketball videos, and early on in the season, they got a lot of traction. Middle of the season, no one was watching, so I was just like, screw this, I'm done. I'm going to stop making them. I've been doing projections for Patreon and everything, though, anyway, for those all season long. But so I'm going to go back to making college basketball videos for the conference tournaments and all of March Madness, all the NCAA tournaments. So be sure to stick around for that. That's something that I've had a lot of success with is college basketball. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get into that more. And then once that's over with, so basically once April starts, I'll be doing NBA videos daily as well. So just as a college student, it's really hard for me to gauge all three sports together at the same time, so I'm just not able to do it. The NBA's been a disaster this year anyway. Just with all the stupid ruling out after lock, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, must-have driver today, Noah Gragson. That's my favorite play. That's who I'd start my lineup with. It would be Noah Gragson, starting with him today. Again, third week in a row. Should have won last week. Had a good car the week before, but his car didn't start. What are you going to do? All right, if I don't get another question in a few minutes, I'm probably going to head out. I'm going to go watch some college basketball, build some lineups, prepare for tomorrow. So yeah, if I don't get a question in another minute or two, I will head out. So make sure to leave any last-minute questions you got. All right, guys. Well, that's really it. Have a great Saturday. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new before you leave. Really helps me out. Helps me get more subscribers. It's the goal. Hopefully we got a few during this video. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great Saturday.